Enjoy the frickin' presentation! The sun set on another hard-working day, and Edward the Blue Engine was waiting at the docks, looking forward to getting home. "Pete, Pete! Get in quickly, please," he whistled to the passengers. So the passengers scrambled inside, and Edward's driver pulled the lever. But Edward found that he couldn't move. The driver clambered down and checked Edward's brakes, but he couldn't find anything wrong. Oh, whatever can be the matter, he wondered. He gave Edward more steam, and this time he started. But not for long. Edward went only a little way before he stopped again with a groan. "It's no good," the driver said to the fireman. "Something is holding us back. Go and see if the conductor can help, please." The fireman jumped down to the platform and ran along to the conductor's van. "What's wrong?" demanded the conductor. "Why haven't we left?" "We reckon your brakes have seized on," said the fireman. "Are yours off all right?" "Should be," replied the conductor. He reached for the handle and tried to turn it, but it wouldn't move. The fireman helped, but even together they still couldn't turn it. So they called the driver, but even with three it wouldn't make a difference whatsoever. The brake handle was stuck fast. "Botheration," said the driver. He was very worried. "If we don't start soon, we'll miss Henry at the junction. Let's give Edward everything he's got and hope for the best." He turned to Edward with a concerned expression. "It'll be hard work, my boy," he told Edward, "but I'm sure you'll do your best." "I'll try, sir," agreed Edward doubtfully. Come on, come on," he puffed fiercely. With smoke and steam pouring from his funnel, the train slowly moved after him. Once they were moving, things became easier, but no matter how hard he tried, Edward found that he couldn't pick up much speed. "Oh dear," he groaned. "We're sure to miss Henry's train now." And then with a sudden jerk, everything became easier, and Edward began to pick up a brisk pace. They reached the junction quickly, and while the passengers transferred to Henry's train, Edward's fireman went to find out what had been wrong with the conductor's brake. "One tiny nut!" exclaimed the fireman when he came back. "It broke and jammed himself against the brake so he couldn't turn the handle. Then after we started, the brake itself broke so that we couldn't move properly." Edward's driver laughed. "Come on, Edward," he said. "Let's get that brake van to a siding where it can be mended." Who would have thought that one small nut could cause so much trouble. A strong wind had been blowing all day, and that night it grew worse still. The next morning, Sir Topham Hatt was eating his breakfast when his wife came in. "Oh, Bertram, dear," she sighed, "there's been slates blown off the roof of our house in the night." "I'll get someone to replace them, my dear," he promised. "No use till this gale has died down, though. They'll blow off as fast as they're put on." At the sheds, the engines had been teasing James. They were remembering the time he had been spun around and around and around and around on the turntable and had to wait for the wind to drop before he could be rescued. "Be careful, James," chuckled Henry. "Mind you don't go on any turntables today." James was indignant. "Careful yourself, Henry. Make sure you don't stick in a tunnel when you need to take shelter." Henry didn't care a bit, and the engines laughed as they went to collect their trains at the station. Henry's first stop was at the station, just before the viaduct. "Be careful, Henry," the station master warned him. "The wind on the viaduct is very fierce today." But Henry was somehow very lucky indeed. The wind dropped for just a few moments at the right time, and he brought his train safely over the bridge. The station just after it was in an exposed place too. Henry knew this, but was so pleased about crossing the viaduct safely that he forgot. "Fancy worrying about a bit of wind," he said to himself. "I have no more stops until the work station. That's one buffer for silly little James." As he rattled through the station, he saw something that made him whistle shrilly in horror. A few hundred yards in front, a tree was suddenly uprooted by the gale and crashed across the line. "Ah!" shrieked Henry, and his driver slammed the brakes on hard. Henry skidded along the rails, coming closer and closer to the tree. He shut his eyes, bracing for impact. Henry opened his eyes to find that he stopped just mere inches from the tree. "Oh, thank goodness," he thought, and let off steam with relief as the conductor came running to see what was the matter. Henry pushed the coaches back to the station, and when the passengers found out what happened, they came to thank Henry for preventing a nasty accident. "Well done, Henry," said James when he found out. "Perhaps it's useful to be able to stick to when you need to after all."